Alright, so this is the first spring fling of the year, my first race of the season. When I post this, it's probably pretty late. There's already been the second race. It's kind of been behind on editing these. So let's kind of talk about the race for the beginning part. I'll probably cut out some sections that are boring. No one wants to see the same laps over and over again. We'll just cut the interesting parts. So it's four corner crit basically. One of the corners is pretty easy. The first one there, corner one, is tight, pretty narrow, and then you have this really long drawn out left turn, and then two 90-degree turns at the end. You can see the map with the bright. If you've noticed, there's no mile per hour heartbeat or power right now. It's because when the race started, I had it paused, and I don't unpause it until later in the race. So the first few laps, let's just say I'm putting out a constant 1,000 watts, but it'll come into play a little bit later. So this is a 4-5 race, in which is kind of fast actually. These like lower category races are interesting to me. I feel like you see a lot of videos online of like 1-2-3s or whatever higher categories, and while those are faster and indeed harder, I don't think anything can be taken away from these ones because there's super strong guys that come out, or guys that have been training all winter. They just happen to be in the lower categories, and the only way to go up is to start down, right? So anyway, the guy right in front of me, 552, Michael, he actually races on the same team as me, the Boulevard cycling team. These races are predominantly two-team fields. Kansas City's dominated mostly in road by GP Veltec and Move Up. And there's like a scattering of people that don't have teams, and then a few other random people, I would say. Random teams. Anyway, so the first few laps aren't too interesting. Everyone's just kind of testing each other a little bit. There's someone like 5 seconds off the front. I'm not too worried right now. Literally just want to try to easy pedal and make up ground as I can. So I think actually this race turns out pretty well for me. I end up winning. And I think is a good way to win, because the field gets blown apart later in the race because there is an attack, and then there's two of us that follow, and then no one else can, and then it's just a three-man breakaway, and then you'll see we all decide just to work together up until the last lap. So makes it kind of safe and fast. So there's like, I don't know, you probably only need 3 people really. Maybe have 3 to 5 people in a breakaway. It's like the best because of the left-hand turn up there. All of you could take it as fast as you could go, and no one gets bunched up or cuts you off. And if you all handle your bike well, you can take it way faster than the peloton can. So if you all work together, you're just gonna beat them. So not much here. We'll skip to when I get power. Alright, so I just said, oops, there's my power. I unpaused the ride. So we're, I don't know, a few minutes later. I don't have lap counter because I didn't pause it correctly, so the laps are all off too. So that's kind of unfortunate. So Michael's in front right now. Kind of just, him and I talked before the race. His strategy was he was just going to go as hard as he could at the very beginning and see what would happen. I warned him, everyone's probably a little bit fitter than you think. It might work, but more than likely what will happen is it'll just get really strung out, and then he thought he could just ride away, but I think what did happen is he just strung it out, and then the strong guys stayed with him, and then the rest of the field got kind of blown apart like I mentioned earlier, and then we start lapping people. They don't pull anyone in this race, and I'm of two minds. It hurts me later in the race because people lapped riders like impede my progress, but at the same time they paid money, right? This is nothing important. we're just some dudes who like to ride bikes, and they paid their $40 to race, so let them race. So while it kind of sucks sometimes for the people that are trying to win, I mean, it sucks for them. They got lapped. That's not fun. So let them ride, I think, is ultimately the better decision, to the dismay of some other people. I don't know if everyone shares that opinion as me. So here's Michael pulling for a lap. I'll have to see when the attack comes that breaks the field even more, and he flicks me on and I blodge.
I got this lap.
I haven't mentioned in this race I actually feel kind of good. I've been sick. I was like sick earlier in the week, like Monday and Tuesday. I was deathly ill. This is Saturday. So my heart rate's kind of low, 168s. You know, it could be higher. I'm not in a box, which is good. And we averaged a pretty good clip, I think, overall for the 35 minutes or whatever this race is. Not super long, but we do like 25.5 miles an hour. Or is it 24.5? I can't remember now. But those are still pretty good for me. This is my... what would I say? So I raced some last year, but I didn't really train before I started racing. I did 2 of these races last year, so last spring fling, and I just thought I was in shape. You know, you're like, oh, I like to ride a bike, and I think I'm athletic a little bit. I didn't really do any interval training. I just rode when I felt like it. So I came out and like I absolutely destroyed. And then so I was like, well, maybe I should do some interval training, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so I did that for all of last year. I did some other races. I just did some Cat 5 stuff, which I think I stayed there long enough. I won like I won like a Cat 5 TT, which is not important. And then there was a Cat 5 road race I did. There was a handful of guys, and I won. So then I decided, well, I'll be a 4, just because I'm going to take it more seriously. And I got my handful of races in, and I didn't feel like I was swerving all over the place. So let's just be a 4. Maybe I'll become a 3, and then that's where I'll stop. That's fine. So this guy's pulling. He's pretty strong. He just started racing too, I believe. So let's go to when basically the race is won. Okay, we're like 1 or 2 laps later. Not too much further. Michael's in front again. We have another kid, some third wheel. This little left-hand turn to the finish line is slightly uphill, as you can see, and so everyone kind of slows down a little bit, trying to recover or whatever. I think I'm drinking water, and then
On your left?
you can see my power start going up because I see this guy going up the front, and I wanted to go with him, and then I know Tyler is really strong, and so if he's going, I'm gonna go. So just dump a whole bunch of watts to stay up with these guys. And I even complained, like, I was trying to take a drink of water. So we're just kick it and we're just going. I don't know if anyone's behind me. And you can see we're almost already catching people to be lapped. And so he's just still pushing the pace a little bit. Tyler pulls through. I'm glad he slotted in. I didn't know if he was going to. I think at the time, I don't know really what I was thinking. Maybe I was just tired because we pushed 1,000 watts for a second and we're going pretty hard, but put a little more pressure on him. He's probably stronger than me, so if he can take the next pull again too, then that's better for me. But I don't know if I was thinking that much strategy. I was probably just saying push pedals hard, must go fast. So anyway, I haven't looked behind us yet. So there's the 3 of us, and I assume in my head, I'm like, oh, everyone's behind us. And I think right now is when I look. And I mention it to him. I'm like, there's no one. It's just us 3. Yeah, I even say it out loud to him. I say it's only us 3.
Yeah, it's us.
So I think it's kind of a little bit of an adrenaline rush. And you're like, oh, there's only 3 of us, and I can't even see the pack behind us. And so I was like, okay, let's just go. I think I mentioned, like, let's work together.
I was trying to take a drink of water, and this guy attacks.
time. So literally that was the move that got us 1, 2, 3. So that little break, and then we decided to work together and just keep putting time into them so they can never just break it, just break the band, and they're never coming back. Like I mentioned, there's 3 of us. We can make good pace around all these turns. No one's coming back. And so this happens until the last lap, and I'll skip to that. So this is the last lap. He just said this is last lap to go, and you can't see me on my camera, but we're all like 3 next to each other, and we're so far ahead. We're just like chit-chatting. My heart rate's pretty low, and then in my head I'm like, I feel really good. And so I even tell them, I say, I'm just gonna go as hard as I can because I don't think I could beat you in a sprint. And so 900 watts, I just dump it again, and I'm just gonna go. Don't even look behind me. I'm just going as hard as I can. I'm passing these guys.
On your left.
I'm just yelling at them maybe louder than I should, but
On your left.
I'm just trying to make a really fast lap, and I don't know if they're behind me. I assume they are, but maybe I caught them off guard and they hesitated, and then I got them a little bit. So this is what kind of screws me over. It doesn't screw me over. I end up winning still, but it was kind of disheartening at the time because I didn't know how close they were. But the left-hand turn is coming up here, and these lap gliders come right in front of me, and I have to grab brake more than I really want. I'd slow way down. I didn't do any power. I could have just kept so much speed and power through that turn. I kept putting time into them. So I'm just trying to go still. I think in this turn, I look over my left shoulder and I don't immediately see them. I'm still trying to push hard because I don't know. Maybe one will sprint and I'm like my VO2 max. I'm breathing heavy. My powers. I'm trying to stay up. Right? It's hard. I look back again and I see them getting closer. I'm like, oh shit! And so I just push a little bit harder, 700 watts, and then. He was close to me. It was close, but I ended up winning. So that was fun. I didn't think I could beat him in a sprint, and I didn't want to sprint. I just wanted to go, and that was the end.